we are having this class today on high blood pressure awareness for specifically for young people. Hi, Doctim. Inviting you. Please join. Been waiting for you. Okay, so interestingly, guys, about 34.2% of adults, that's about 1 in 3 adults in Nigeria, are predicted to have high blood pressure. And when I'm talking about adults, I'm talking about people that from the range of 18 to 34. Hi, Doug, you're finally here. You are finally here. Welcome. It has been a hassle trying to get this class done. From
it's been a
Zoom
great hassle.
to Telegram to TikTok to Zoom to I'm happy that it's finally happening.
Yeah, it's finally happening.
Okay, so is my audio clear? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, it's yeah, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. So this is a very, very
That's going to
important topic that we are both passionate about. And I became even more
yeah.
passionate about it when I was going through the streets of TikTok. Actually, I was doing a very important audience research for my client that has a high blood pressure formula. So in case you don't know, I come up with content for wellness brand. So I was actually doing a research on high blood pressure. Then I came across your video, your very interesting video on high blood pressure. And I must say that before then, and I think I'm actually speaking on behalf of every young person when I say before then, I actually thought high blood pressure was something that related with old age, people that are 50 and above. That's when you need to worry about your pressure. Because before then, I never actually paid attention to checking my own blood pressure until I came across your very interesting story and experience on high blood pressure. And that is the whole genesis of us doing this video, very important lecture today to create awareness of high blood pressure in young people. So I know that everybody sees high blood pressure as a silent killer, and possibly you may not experience those symptoms. So I just want to ask that for a young person that is about, like, let's say 25, 26 to 30, what kind of symptoms do you think that they should look out for when it comes to trying to dictate those little alarms that can possibly indicate a high blood pressure in a young person?
So there are first symptoms that may appear, and you might take them lightly or rather relate them to other illnesses, just a temporal infection. So things like headaches, having a stiff neck. So having a stiff neck is one of the most important symptoms that you must watch. You must be keen on it. Because if it's coming repeatedly, that means it's coming every day. Like you're noticing every day. There's no day that will end without having a headache. It's something
Okay.
you should rush and check your blood pressure. So that is the first symptom. The second symptom is feeling your heartbeat at night. While you're sleeping, you can feel your heart is pumping, and it's pumping faster, and yeah, it's faster, and you can feel your breath skipping. So those are the first symptoms you should watch. And the third one is sweating a lot at night,
Okay.
having heavily sweats at night. And to add on that, also going to the washroom like more than 2 to 3 times every night for a short call. That could be a raise of an that could be an alarm that you could be having hypertension or other high blood pressure. Yeah, so those are the first main symptoms. Again, these are symptoms that I went through. So I'm speaking out
Okay.
of experience, not out of reading. I'm a study.
Okay.
Another
Okay.
symptom, another symptom one might experience is noticing blood samples or rather blood spots on your urine. And
Mm.
in most cases in men in their semen. So if you notice blood
Mm.
sample, blood spots in your semen, urine, that could be an alarm or rather a raise that you could be having high blood pressure. And
Very interesting.
yeah, there are very small symptoms that people ignore. Another one is numbness. Numbness. You feel like a part of your body is very numb, just for no reason.
Okay.
Maybe a part of
Okay.
your cheek, maybe your lip, maybe your hand. Somewhere it's very numb, and it's not. It has stayed there for long, so that could be a risk that your blood pressure could be too high.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and now when you advance to higher symptoms, that is blurry vision. When you start noticing that your vision is changing, or rather it's disappearing, that could be a sign that your blood pressure is.
Hmm. The truth of the matter is, if I everything you just mentioned, I have experienced personally myself, but my mind never went to the fact that it could be actually elevated blood pressure or anything, because there was a certain time in my life that I was sweating so much at night, and to I noticed that there was a lot of weight loss during the time that I always had this serious night sweat. And when I'm talking about serious night sweat, I mean my whole bed will literally be soaked by the time I wake up in the morning. And yeah, this heart palpitation, I don't think is one of the things that I experienced at night, but I could say that, yeah, during the day, I could experience, having difficulty taking deep breaths and actually like being able to inhale properly like I should. But those symptoms are resolved now. And you mentioned something like blood vision, which is something that I think the headache aspect also, and blood vision and the numbness. As a young person, I don't think if I am experiencing any of this, the first instinct is going to come, or even the second instinct or the third instinct will actually indicate in my mind to check my blood pressure. So this is actually very useful information out there. And sometimes also, I wouldn't say like up to 3 times, I can get up to pee like twice or so at night. But the constant headache is something that I don't think I've ever experienced. So I think is one of the things that I think these symptoms might vary from person to person, but there are some things that can occur persistently that you would actually not have to ignore and check your blood pressure, which is the blood vision, sudden blood vision you talked about, blood in semen, that is a very serious indicator, and also persistent headache. But this persistent headache might also be caused by dehydration. So before you conclude that your headache is persistent, or as a young person, before you conclude that your headache is persistent or related to high blood pressure, make sure that you are taking at least 3 liters
Water.
a day, right? Yeah, and make sure that you're hydrated on a cellular level. I know you have a personal experience with high blood pressure. So, what was those patterns of lifestyle that you found yourself engaging in as a young person that must have led to resulting into high blood pressure?
So the patterns of lifestyle that I think could have resulted to my hypertension. One is probably because I was a sports guy. I used to play a lot of basketball. I used to play basketball every day.
Okay.
So I was exercising myself. So one I think is stress from work. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's really I think that is one of the major problems that resulted to me getting hypertension because I was very stressed. At that time I was too much pressure at work, stress, not getting paid, frustrations. Yeah, so I think that one is one. The second one is maybe doing drugs. I used to do a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol and marijuana.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
used to do a lot of drugs. Um, but I used to do marijuana probably every day. So alcohol was once in a while. So I think that could be one of the other reasons as to why I was diagnosed with hypertension. The third
Okay.
lifestyle is diet was okay because I was eating just regular food, ugali, greens, rice, once in a while junk foods. So lifestyle was, I think it was fine. So I think those two are the one of the biggest because health wise I was like, in fact I was more leaner than I was very lean. I was very
Okay.
small. Yeah, I was very active. I was very active. I was physically active. So I think stress and drugs.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is, even though as a young person you are physically active and you go to the gym, you are physically active, you play football, you do any of all these things, and
Yeah.
let's say that as a young person, stress is something that we cannot avoid because I think from
Yeah.
last night, I don't think I got up to 8 hours of sleep because of work. So I think
Yeah.
stress is partly something that we cannot avoid as a young person. But
Yeah.
everything you mentioned is a typical young person's lifestyle. But
Yeah.
on
True.
marijuana is one of the things that is very controversial when it comes to marijuana because people um tag marijuana with something that has health benefits, even though there is no solid science to back that up. In fact, the thing is, marijuana has actually been scientifically proven to actually age your brain, and that is, I don't know, like, do you think there's a mechanism to how marijuana actually causes high blood pressure or raises high blood pressure? Because almost 70% of Nigerian adults, I would say, has a relationship with drugs, especially alcohol. If not marijuana, I would say alcohol, which
But
is a very poison, which is something that your liver dictates as a poisonous substance, and also your kidney doesn't like at all. And I know that high blood pressure is related to kidney. Is you cannot discuss high blood pressure without discussing the kidneys. And I know that alcohol is metabolized in the body as sugar, so excess sugar. So what? But I don't think people need to be convinced on alcohol, because I think there's a lot of doctors out there already shouting the dangers of alcohol. Even if people are not paying attention, people still think it is okay to like go 2 glasses a week, or even like take it once in a while is okay. It doesn't matter actually, and this is what young people need to know, that it doesn't matter. Whether you take it once a month, your liver and your kidneys are going to dictate it as poison. But on the angle of marijuana, can you please expand a little bit more on that? Because I feel like people need to hear this.
can you hear me now? Am I clear?
Yes, I can hear you. Can hear you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, in our country, marijuana it's the leading drug that is being consumed by humans, and I believe so in
Okay.
each and every country, but mostly in Kenya. In Kenya, it's the leading, not even alcohol. So it's a drug that is being consumed by
Okay.
many people, many people. So in relation
Okay.
to hypertension, because we cannot say that you see, I think it varies from person to person, but what marijuana does in your body is, you see, marijuana stiffens your blood vessels, and you see your blood vessels, they
Wow.
have muscles. The arteries have muscles, unlike the veins, the arteries that take blood from the heart to the body. So they have muscles, and those muscles need to move up and down in order to push blood. So what marijuana does, it stiffens the arteries. You see, just by stiffening that, you find that the blood pressure, the blood has trouble going through the veins. I mean the arteries. So by that, it triggers your
Okay.
blood pressure. But you see, that is temporary. It's very temporary because it happens for that time when you're high. Once you are not high, it goes back to normal. So I don't really think it causes hypertension, but it results to worsening the situation. More so if you're hypertensive. If you're not hypertensive, you're okay to take the medication. But once you're diagnosed hypertensive, it is very risky for you to take because it will trigger your blood pressure. You see, so there's a doctor I was listening to, and he was saying that marijuana is very good for the body. I don't know. It makes the blood vessels to be smooth and work properly. So I don't. It's I think it's a paradox. I don't know. It happens from person to person. There are people I've met. They have taken marijuana all their life, and right now they're in their 70s and nothing has ever happened to them. So I think it happens from person to person. There are people who take marijuana and once in a while, I mean, after a while, they are diagnosed with hypertension. So I think it varies from person to person. You cannot really generalize and say that marijuana causes hypertension, yet it is the leading drug being sold out here.
Yeah. Okay. So on that, I just want to say something about that. You know, the topic of marijuana is very controversial. It's very
Very
controversial,
controversial.
and I do not know if it is the smoking of marijuana that actually stiffens the blood vessels or the consumption of the marijuana itself. What do you think?
I think it's the consumption of the marijuana itself.
Okay. Because the same thing also happens when you smoke cigarette, and that is about 4 hours you lose arterial function, like your arteries are not going to function well. But there is another thing that is very interesting about what you just said about stiffening of the arteries, and which is something that people do not really pay attention to, and that is consumption of seed oils. And I know
Mm.
that not a lot of people, especially young people, pay attention to the kind of oils that they use to cook and the effect it has on their arteries and their blood vessels and the heart and the brain. So I just want to put it out there that if you are consuming, in as much as marijuana might actually have a short, marijuana also has a short effect when it comes to stiffening of the arteries, which is the short period of time that you are high. But it brought to my memory to, because seed oils are actually worse, because seed oils is literally 24 hours of impaired arterial function. And this is something that people do not really pay attention to when it comes to, lifestyle and what you consume and the effect it actually has in your heart and your arteries. So if you are eating anything that has to do with soy oil, canola oil, corn oil, you stand at a higher risk than someone that is consuming alcohol, someone that is consuming marijuana, someone that is consuming tobacco. Because this one actually just has a temporal reaction on your lungs and your arteries. But seed oils is on a cellular level and it has longer effects. And I think on the topic of marijuana is something that is very, very controversial, but I just want to make it I just want to create the awareness that in as much as there are other factors, seed oils, which is something that people do not really pay attention to, is even more dangerous. Is more dangerous than consuming marijuana, than consuming tobacco, and possibly even any other risk factor that might be out there. And the thing is, Nigerians have a very, very funny relationship with high blood pressure. You might as well just do, you might as well just scare someone jokingly, and they will tell you, "Do you want to raise my, do you want to raise my BP?" Do you guys say that over there?
Yeah. We say it, but in our language, like usinipandishe pressure. So that means that don't raise my blood pressure. Leave me alone. I have a Nigerian friend that I go check his blood pressure regularly, and it scares him so much. But his blood pressure is very okay. It has been ever okay since the first day. But he calls me to go take his blood pressure every week. But I'm like, just take it easy. You're okay.
Hmm.
Like there's no sign, there's no danger. But he's very scared. scared about it.
Yeah, we are very scared about it in Nigeria. We are scared about it in Nigeria. You know, there's this fear of not preparing before you die, and high blood pressure
Yeah,
is one of the quickest ways to like suddenly die and just give up. But there is another thing I want to bring to our notice as young people. When you mentioned the smoking of marijuana and how it weakens your arteries. So the thing is, it's a very tricky condition. You know, you mentioned varying from person to person in terms of genetics. It might the thing is, on a cellular level, in our biology is the same. It might just take longer for some people compared to other people. So some people it might be an instant reaction, while others is going to like accumulate and build up. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to affect you on a cellular level. But then it might some people might have the advantage of repairing faster. And if you're paying attention to other aspects of your life in terms of lifestyle, managing stress, eating right, you might be at a more advantage. But if you're young and you take marijuana, one of the things that you can pay attention to is, if you are a male, one of the easy way for you to actually dictate if your arteries are being weakened by this drug is by paying attention to your reproductive system. If you are beginning to have erectile dysfunction, because that is erectile dysfunction is one of the earliest signs that the body actually gives when it comes to because the thing is, when your heart fails, it's already too late, right? It's already
yeah,
too late.
yeah.
So the
Definitely.
small indications that your body might be giving is it starts from your reproductive organ. You know, you might not be able to get as hard as you used to get, or as be able to control your erections. These are little signs that you, because your arteries are muscle, your heart is a muscle, and your reproductive system as a male is also a muscle. And whatever it is that is happening always starts from your reproductive system. That's the easiest way for you to actually pay attention to what is going on in your heart. Now, as ladies, because I also know that ladies consume marijuana a lot, I don't really think there is a physical way to quickly dictate that your blood pressure, like, yeah, your the condition of your arteries. So I don't really know. Maybe it's something I have to research more on when it comes to ladies and the earliest signs that they can pay attention to when it comes to their high blood pressure and the signals that the body gives.
Yeah.
So, as a young person that cannot avoid stress, obviously we can't avoid stress. What do
Yeah.
you think that we can do to better improve or manage stress as a young person?
The only way to do it is healing quickly, getting over the stress quickly, and accepting
Okay.
situations and self happy.
Okay. Healing
Because
quickly.
it's only stress while you have it in your head all the time and you keep thinking about it. But when you engage your mind elsewhere and do things that make you happier, make you feel better, overcoming that stress will be quickly and faster. You see, for us men, we also teach men how to. Because you see, for men, it's very it's very important to have stress. It's a day to day meal. Like you cannot escape it. So you just learn to live with it and learn to accept reality, and you learn to overcome it quickly. Like accepting this is the situation. How can you focus more on fixing it than thinking about it all the time? Because now when you keep it in your head, now it becomes a danger. It becomes harmful. You're now releasing it and talking with someone, talking it out with people, and yeah, just engaging your mind elsewhere. It isn't the stress, and it makes you feel better and lighter.
Hmm.
It's,
Okay,
it's,
so
it's an
that means okay.
it's an art that, because you see, there we have to accept reality on the ground, and the reality on the ground is we cannot escape stress whether we like it or not. It's our day to day meal. It's something that we consume every day. So why not being quick to deal with it faster and releasing it and accepting that this is the situation on the ground and find a solution to it.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say now is that as a young person, one of the things that is the cause of high blood pressure is the fact that we are carrying we are carrying the load, the mental load of the 50-year-olds of like 10 years ago, or let's say 20 years ago. We're not carrying the equal amount of, or the equal weight of the mental loads
Yeah,
that they used
yeah,
to carry. So that's why
yeah.
most young people are experiencing high blood pressure. Because yeah, you mentioned men, right? That men experience this more, but I would agree to disagree with you, because women nowadays, there
Yeah.
is an uprise
Very
of women trying to fend for themselves, making stuff. In fact, I would say that the workload on women and on men now is almost equal. But yeah,
yeah,
men have the
it's
lion's share. But what you're trying to say now is that one of the stress that has most impact on your high blood pressure is the emotional and psychological stress, as compared to the physical stress.
uh could you please come again? I've missed something. Just repeat the question again.
Okay, I'm trying to say that you're trying to say that when it comes to high blood pressure, your physical stress, the emotional stress has more impact in elevating your blood pressure compared to physical stress.
Any day. Yes.
Wow, that's a very useful information.
The,
Young
the,
people are in
the,
trouble then.
the emotional stress
Because
is harmful
okay, more than physical stress. But what about
than physical.
physical stress? That physical stress, because I know that the heart is actually controlled by the parasympathetic nervous system, and
Yeah.
this is hugely impacted by sleep. And sleep is one of
Yeah.
the things that people overlook, because we feel like we have all the time in the world to sleep. We don't really pay attention to sleep quality and the importance of getting that sleep. I'm also guilty about this. I'm guilty of it.
You are a
So,
victim.
in terms of physical stress,
Mm.
sleep is one of the things that people overlook a lot, especially when you have a lot of things to do. And also sometimes, you might be physically stressed so much if you're doing hard labor, and whereby it requires you to wake up in the morning early and go to bed late at night.
Yeah.
That can also influence blood pressure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. First,
Okay, so
sleep is one of the biggest culprits when it comes to hypertension. And yeah, it's true. People overlook sleep. They really overlook sleep because I'm a victim too of sleep. Even during those days when when I had hypertension and I never knew about it. One of the biggest culprit was sleep because I never had good sleep quality because before I sleep I'm pressured finishing a task that is supposed to be submitted before I sleep. Finishing and it's late at night, probably 2 in the a.m. I sleep. I'm supposed to wake up at 5 and go to work. You see, I never had any good sleep quality, and sleep is very important, and this is something people overlook.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So um as a young person, judging from everything we've been discussing, as a young person, I feel like nowadays, no wonder a whole 34% point two of Nigerians are actually experiencing high blood pressure, because young people are going through a whole lot of emotional stress coupled with a whole lot of physical stress. Because as a young person now, you're under a lot of pressure to make money, the pressure to make a certain amount of money,
yeah,
as in keeping being a millionaire before you're 30 is one of the things that never used to be such a burden compared to like 20 years ago. It wasn't something that people were so desperate to achieve as a status compared to now. And to do that, you have to put in a lot of work emotionally, and competition between young people also takes a toll on emotional, psychological, and mental stress. So it is a whole lot of factors to actually pay attention to as a young person, especially if you want to prevent high blood pressure. So,
That's
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you still here with me?
Yeah, I'm here with you.
Was I breaking?
Nana, you are not. I was listening. I've listened to everything.
Hello?
Hello,
Was I
can't you hear me?
breaking?
No, 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 you are not breaking. You cannot hear me?
We are trying to say that we've been trying to create awareness and give enough information on high blood pressure on in young people, because like I said, a lot of young people are experiencing high blood pressure, which was not something that was common as at 20 years ago, as at 10 years ago. Nowadays, people are dropping, young people in quotes, are dropping dead, and none of us are paying attention to the fact that it could be high blood pressure, or even the status of our blood pressure as a young person. And that is one of the things that we're creating awareness about in today's live class. What we're going to be talking about next is how to prevent high blood pressure in a young person, because the damage that is done to your arteries might not be reversible. So prevention is always better, right? And we're going to be looking at what to do as a young person to prevent high blood pressure. And I know definitely one of the things that is going to help a great deal is to pay invite you to co-host with two. No. One of the things that you can pay attention to is the status of your high blood pressure, because it's always better to dictate it early so you can, take action earlier, whether it is adjusting your diet or paying attention to the psychological factors that might be contributing to anything that is going to elevate your blood pressure, or any other factor that you might have been ignoring. And we're going to be discussing how, as a young
I
person,
dropped.
yeah, I, I try to keep the life going while you were away. So, Doc, welcome back.
Thank you.
It has been so interesting so far.
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me how a young person can better influence blood pressure in a positive way? Like how to prevent high blood pressure in a young person. If peradventure, as a young person, I want to start right now to know how to prevent it and start doing those things that is going to help me prevent high blood pressure by the time I'm 40, 45, 50. What can I start to do now?
So the very first thing you need to do is, as a young man, or rather as a young person, is first you take life easy. And it's not a race that people are competing. It's not a competition. So people should take life easy, because I remember you were talking about the way people nowadays have the pressure to get rich quick. They want to make all this
Yeah.
money, all this lifestyle very quickly. It's actually, I was, it's like you were talking to me, because it's something I was going through before I got sick. I was like, hey, Vera is talking about me. Why are you talking about me? So yeah, it's very true. Many people nowadays, they have the pressure to get rich quick. They want to make money quick, so they go and stress themselves trying to make ends meet. They go all the way out, they without mending their health. So that is the very first thing. Many people should take life easy and just be slow on things, and uh, be physical exercise. Physical exercise and peace of mind, you'll never experience hypertension. Those two things.
Okay. On that, people that have this the people that are so enthusiastic about the gym can actually when you say I just want to clarify that, because when we say physical exercise, people might misunderstand it, because when you overworking out also can stress your heart. So when we
Yeah,
say
yeah,
physical exercise, we do not mean that you should go to the gym every single day. In fact, studies are showing that going to the gym every single day might actually not be so beneficial, especially when you're working out for a long period of time and you don't give your muscles
maybe enough time,
your
enough time
muscles
to
time to
rest.
actually repair. Yeah. So when we're talking about being active physically, it might be just instead of like carrying or lifting heavy weights, you can just incorporate high interval trainings, like 15 minutes a day. That is enough. Or some yoga, 15 minutes a day. That is enough. It's not every time that you have to, as a young person, because I know that this is something that a trap that young people usually fall into when it comes to overworking out
Yeah,
and trying to have trying to have abs is actually not is not natural, because the animals don't have abs. It's actually not natural. You can overwork out. So just basically, good morning, Coca. Hi, welcome. So working out, being physically fit is different from stressing. Like, you can actually the gym can actually stress you out, because the truth is, athletes, so most of your athletes, the ones that are being studied scientifically, like your UFC, your boxers, your box, not as in boxers, as in your boxers, people that box, or fighters. If you look at them, most of them are fit, but they do not have abs. So I just really want to inform young people that it is not natural. It is not natural for you to want six packs, you want to have abs. So you're always going to the gym, stressing yourself every single day, trying to work out. That might not be the goal. The goal is to be fit, not to overwork out yourself, because you might be working out and you actually end up having high blood pressure in the process.
yeah, yeah. Even when I say physical exercise, it doesn't necessarily mean going to the gym or going to kill yourself in the gym.
Yeah.
But I necessarily mean like doing things like cardio exercises
Yeah,
at home,
exactly.
maybe morning runs, jogging,
Exactly.
such exercises, yeah, to make your heart, to make your flow easy, to just cardio exercise to make sure that you have
Exactly.
a healthy heart. Yeah, and the best exercise I tell people to do is walking, doing long walks. Yeah, you can
Exactly.
do long walks. It's very comfortable to do. You just do long walks. I advise people to do like 30 to 40 minutes every day of walking. And if you can go extreme kiasi, you do morning runs. You wake up in the morning and do like a 5 kilometer run, or less, depending on your ability. And do jogging and doing yoga, meditation. Yeah, just
Exactly.
making sure that you're physical. You're not. You see, many people nowadays they spend much time at home, sleeping, watching movies. They nowadays many people have working at home. So someone is working at home, spending all the day seated down. They haven't stepped outside of the house because they did shopping. So it's harmful to your body. So
Yeah.
basically, you should be keeping your body active, just active during the day, because you have the whole night to sleep. So just be physical, be active during the day. Even when I talk about physical exercise, does not mean like even walking, even just standing, even just making sure you're not asleep.
Yeah, exactly. Just avoiding the sedentary lifestyle, just sitting
Yeah,
down on the couch all day, lying around, not
yeah,
the whole point. The reason why I had to clarify that is because we young people, we misunderstand the whole concept of being physically active to overworking out and trying to have abs and all that. The main goal is to actually get your blood moving, which one of the best ways to actually take care of that aspect of your life is to actually, do yoga. Yoga is one thing I say that I tag yoga as a balanced workout, because in yoga you take care of your mind, that's your mental state, your psychological state, and that is because most of the time you're doing yoga, your blood is actually getting to your brain more. So like most of all these things is very, very important. And in that little while of doing yoga, you take care of your mind, your state of mind, you take care of proper circulation of an equal emphasis on equal distribution of circulation, because yoga, in yoga you're breathing, so you're regulating your parasympathetic nervous system, you're circulating blood equally in your torso, your limbs, stuff like that. So yoga is one of the easiest ways, is one of the most balanced ways to actually get active and not overwork yourself. So I just want to put that out there in case there is anybody that is confused about working out. So that's just one. Are there other advice that you have for young people on how to regulate your high blood pressure?
Another one is hydration. You see, many people nowadays they overlook taking water. They don't take it serious. And it's just like a vehicle. A vehicle cannot operate well without fuel or without water or without oil. It needs oil so that it can. If you misuse a car without having enough fuel or having enough oil or having, of course, it will tear out. So it
Yeah,
also operates the same. So if you deny your body something, of course your body will react, and it will react with an illness. And in most cases, hypertension will be included. Yeah, so basically just taking care of your body, giving your body whatever it needs. If it needs water, if it needs the any benefit your body needs, just give it that, and you'll be okay. Exercise,
exactly. I
diet-wise,
agree with you.
yeah, now making sure you see your body needs things like potassium, magnesium, calcium, and those things are found in cereals, fruits, vegetables. Yeah, so if you take care of, if you making sure you're taking such diets once regularly, and you're physically active, you're doing exercise, depending on which exercise you're doing, maybe cardio at home or running or whichever, or you're even going to the gym. And peace of mind. I mean, getting hypertension will be it cannot be appear anywhere in the picture.
Yeah, you're very right when you say that we young people, we don't really take hydration as very important, and that is because most of us don't really understand how the body works. And I don't really blame anybody that is thirsty and you're reaching for Coca-Cola or Team or Fanta or fruit juice. Water
Yeah.
is very, very important, and one of the most important part of your body is your blood. And young people need to understand that when push comes to shove, when push comes to shove in the body is going to, like, inevitably trying to protect the blood volume. So the blood volume has to be regulated at all times. So when you do not supply, and your blood is obviously mostly made up of water, liquid.
Yeah.
So when you dehydrate yourself, or when you don't drink adequate water, what is your body going to do? It's going to take water from those places that might not be as important as your blood, because that is where your life is. And it must try to, maintain the blood volume. So people do not really understand the importance of hydration. And hydration, water is one of the best blood thinners. It helps your blood flow more freely. So
Yeah,
it is very, very important for, as a young person, to pay attention to the amount or liter of water you're consuming every single day. It plays a
yeah,
huge
it
role, making sure that your
does.
blood pressure is actually regulated.
Yeah, it
Yes,
does play
doc.
a huge role because you see, the only way your kidneys can function well and freely is through taking a lot of water, because its function is basically to excrete excess water, and the kidneys need to do that to perform that function in order
Exactly.
to be doing to be doing its job. So if you're denying it water, then you're stressing your kidneys, and you see it's one of the places where hypertension starts.
Exactly.
The kidneys, the heart, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that is basically it. And also it's very, very important as a young person to pay attention to your diet. Like previously I talked about the kind of oil that you used to cook. And just to throw more light on that, people might gravitate towards going to buy healthy oils like quote unquote your olive oil. And
Coconut,
if you
olive
don't really know
oil.
how to use your olive oil, it might actually also turn into toxic if you heat it above some certain heat this thing pressure. So your best cooking oil still remains coconut oil or our normal local palm oil. Do you guys have palm oil over there? Because I hear that the way we see palm oil in Nigeria is not how it is over there, especially in Kenya.
Well,
I was
yeah,
surprised to hear that.
yeah, you see, Kenyans are very sneaky. Many Kenyans are in business, so they create counterfeit products. So
Oh
we have
wow.
counterfeit palm oil, but you can still get original palm oil. But personally, I've not come across palm oil yet, but I've seen it being sold in the stores, in the supermarkets. Yeah, so yeah,
So what do you use over there?
we use the kawaida seed oils. Apart from seed oils, maybe coconut oil,
Okay.
maybe olive oil and avocado oil. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, coconut oil, avocado oil, that is good. How I knew that Kenyans don't really have access to palm oil was because one of my teachers was a Kenyan. So when he came to Nigeria with his wife, one of the things that he was so eager to fit into as much as possible in his box was palm oil, like kegs and kegs of palm oil. And he was kind of like, scared because according to him, it's contraband and he might not be allowed to carry it in the at the airport. He might be asked to drop it because it's contraband, quote unquote. So that was I was like, what? Palm oil in Nigeria is everywhere. And that's one of the oils that is actually scientifically proven to be heart neutral. So it doesn't it doesn't affect your heart in a negative way. People might say it is saturated fat, and there's this whole thing that goes on with high blood pressure being associated with saturated fat, which is actually false. So, but I was very, very surprised to hear that the way we have palm oil over here is different from Kenya. That you guys don't actually have palm oil. So your
Yeah,
soup
yeah,
or your food is mostly whitish.
yeah. What is the color of the palm oil?
Is red. Is red.
You guys are using
Is
oil
red.
that is red in color.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have
And
that
it's
here.
very delicious. It has a very delicious taste. And you can easily make it in your kitchen by yourself.
Oh well, then I think we don't have palm oil in
The
Kenya.
same way you also make easily you can easily make coconut oil in your kitchen. That's how you make palm oil. You guys are
Ah,
missing a
okay.
whole lot.
Yeah, we are missing.
Yeah, you are. You should visit Nigeria once in a while just to see how we live
Yeah,
over here.
I must visit
Yeah.
Nigeria.
So
I have a couple of Nigerian friends. I want to visit Nigeria and see.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now I'm one added friend you can always call up.
yeah, of
You can
course.
holler at me anytime you come to Nigeria.
When I'm coming to Nigeria, I must meet you.
Okay, so is there any other tip? I think we've done justice to this topic of high blood pressure in young people. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you think you want to tell us about high blood pressure Is there anything else you want us to, like, anything you think we must have missed when it comes to high blood pressure, or anything you would like to tell us?
Yeah, so to finalize, what I was saying is, what I can say is maybe warn people about hypertension, and it's a very risky disease. It's very dangerous. It's one of the dangerous diseases that has ever happened, and it causes vision loss. It completely causes vision loss, and also leads to stroke. It also leads to death. So it's a very dangerous disease, and it can stop your life, and yeah, it's very dangerous. I mean, it's very dangerous. I've had cases of people who have lost vision, I being one of them, but for me, it's that I can see. But I've had cases of people who have lost their vision completely. I've also heard of cases of people who are being attacked with stroke and they'll stay like that for life. Yeah, so it's a very dangerous disease. People should watch out and be careful.
Okay. Based on everything we've discussed today, and judging that we are already on 34.2% of high blood pressure, that's about one almost one in three people, adults in Nigeria. So we can say that, judging from our lifestyle with everything we've discussed today, which basically everything we've discussed today that causes high blood pressure in young people is the, should I say, the normalized lifestyle of every young person now. So we can like effortlessly predict that there will be an uprise of high blood pressure in like few years to come.
Yeah, yeah, it will be very rampant. It will be now talk of the town.
Wow, because people are hurting their kidneys with drugs, things that are put in our foods. Apart from drugs, alcohol being the worst of it, and drugs also, because drugs, alcohol, the body metabolizes it almost the same way and is seen as poison. So, and a lot of people are taking drugs that are not even, some things that they might not consider as drugs, they might see it as recreational, like codeine, Reflon, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And a whole lot of people are chucking down more alcohol every single day, even if it's getting more expensive every single day, not knowing that they're actually spending their money to actually cause more harm, to spend more money in future. So if you are young out there, one of the best things that you can do to have not worry about high blood pressure in future is to actually prevent it, and prevention starts from now, with
yeah,
what
yeah,
you do with your life. Getting
yeah.
better sleep.
E-
Sleep
e-
is
e-
one of the,
Everything you do in your life, it counts. Everything counts. So
yeah.
yeah, so basically, people should just take care of their health and watch what they put in their body. Make sure you're taking things that are beneficial to your body. And once in a while,
Yeah.
you can cheat with maybe fries, maybe chicken, fried chicken. Once in a while, it's okay to cheat with that, but not on a regular basis. Yeah, so those are
Yeah.
foods you cannot deny people. Because one of my doctors told me I cannot tell you to not to eat fries and fried chicken. So I've allowed you to take it, but once in a while it's okay, not every day. Yeah, but on a regular basis, not okay.
Yeah. On fried things occasionally can be tolerated, yes, but the emphasis on is on what oil it is actually fried in.
Oil,
And
yeah, yeah, the
you
oil,
telling
yeah,
me over there that you guys have mostly seed oils,
yeah,
that's
seed
actually where
oils.
the problem is. Because there's a research that was actually done where um one piece of one piece of chip that is fried in seed oil is actually equal to smoking, just one piece is actually equal to smoking one stick of cigarette. So if you are going
Oh,
to finish like 25 pieces of chips, you've actually just literally just smoked a whole pack of cigarette. So the point is not, eating fried things. You can eat fried things, especially when it is fried in palm oil, which is actually heart friendly, is okay. And also deep frying it is also a factor. You can fry, but deep frying it is also a factor, because at the end of the day, you've destroyed every single vitamin or nutrient that food is going to give you by frying. like deep frying it. So these things are actual factors that we must pay attention to, because every single day, the kind of life you live every single day is an accumulation of how your health is going to be in future, and it's something that we need to pay attention to
Yeah, that's
as
right.
young
That's
people.
very right.
Okay, Doug, this is a fairly satisfactory lecture on high blood pressure. Thank you so much for
Welcome.
honoring my invitation to educate young people on high blood pressure. Like I said, your video, when I came across your video online, it opened my eyes. It opened my eyes to the fact that as a young person, I can actually have and stand at a risk of having high blood pressure. And I really want to say a very big thank you today, because this is the first time that I'm actually on live this long on on TikTok talking about health. So thank you so much for honoring my invitation. I appreciate every bit of your time, because I know you're very busy. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Pleasure is all mine.